Hello people, welcome back to my channel. I am Aniswagle and from today we are starting a series on ASP Dot Net MVC. In this series we will start by learning a basic C Sharp and continue our way to our entity framework where we will develop a desktop application and we will learn about model, view and controller portion of ASP Dot Net, learn about database and conclude the series by creating a complete web-based application. So to start, what you need to do is open your favorite web browser and search for Visual Studio 2019, and you can click on this visualstudio.microsoft.com/vs website and download the community version of Visual Studio by clicking over here and clicking on Community 2019. After doing so, and if you are in Mac OS, then click right over here and download Visual Studio for Mac. Once download is done, while installing, what I want you to do is wait a moment. Visual Studio is pretty big package, so it takes few time to load. When you are trying to install, then please make sure you have checked ASP.NET Web Development, .NET Desktop Development, Data Storage and Processing, and .NET Core Cross Platform Development checked. And after doing so, you can just install the Visual Studio, and we can continue together. So to continue, just open Visual Studio 2019 and to create a project, click on create a new project, and here at first we are going to learn how C# work in a console application, but make sure you will find a lot of console applications here, right? Like it's showing just here saying console app.net core, but we don't want to use .NET core. What we are looking for is .NET framework. Right here you can see console app.net framework. Click on .NET framework and select next, and you will be brought to the page where it asks you for your project name. We are going to say demo project for now, but in the future while we are developing our desktop application with a entity framework, we will give a proper name to our project. So for now, let it be the desktop project and click on create. By doing so, you will create a project for your Visual Studio. It will take few moments to create the project, so be patient. In programming, patience is a great thing. Once the project is loaded, you will be brought to the page where you can see one program.cs is running. Here all these using statements are the namespace of the default program libraries, and here you can see that our namespace of the project which we have just created is opened, and there we have class name program and static void main. Here if there is another program from where you want to access any of the classes given inside the namespace, then you can use using demo project namespace. Namespace is nothing but just a collection of the different classes. And here static void main is a main program. In C or C++, you have noticed void main program which execute at the first, and it is similar to this that one. Before starting anything, I want to clarify that I am not going to teach you programming from the basic, rather I'm going to teach you the C sharp. So I want you to have certain level of programming knowledge in any programming. At least you should know the basic, like how to print or scan or anything that works in a programming, and I will show you how that things are implemented in C sharp. So in today's class where we will be looking at how you can print some stuff in the console, how you ask anything to the user and take input from keyboard from the user, and conclude our class by learning about control statements like if, else, nested if else, and loops. So I want you to at least know the basics of programming so that we can wrap up all the basic content in this one video and continue other videos in more advanced stuff. So let's start by printing something in our console. For that, we have console dot write line. Console dot write and console dot write line both does the similar thing, but only different is that one takes input of many line, but one will write only one line. You will see the example here. And here if I say hello world and save and run the code, while running for the first time it takes a bit longer to compile, but after some time it will just run fast. As you noticed, a black console appear, but without displaying anything, it just goes out. This is because once the hello world is displayed, the program has nothing else to do and closes itself. To stop from closing, what we can do is write console.readLine, and this will stop the program from closing. It is same as using getch in C or C++. So now if we start the program, you can see hello world is printed, and now this cursor is blinking, which means it wants us to enter something. So we can just press enter and the terminal will get closed. You might already guess that write line is used to get input from keyboard. So let's do a program where we ask value to the user and display it in the console. Let's say int a equals console dot readline, and you might notice it already displays a error because we can't convert a string directly into integer, and we have a is an integer. So what we need to do is at first convert string into integer, which is also known as typecasting or boxing and unboxing. For that we have a lot of methods, so let me show you two of those methods. First thing we can do is int 32 capital I here dot parse. And by doing this, what will happen is anything which is entered by user will get converted into int32. Why I choose int32 over here is because this int, as you can see, it has struct system.int32. so int32 is using 32-bit integer. So this is one way of converting string into integer, but normally what I use is convert, again C capital, dot to, and you can see a lot of options right here. So for our case we are using int32. So by doing this as well, convert this string into integer. So now we can do the same for B. And what we can do is in C equals A plus B, and console dot write line C. So by doing so, what will happen is it will ask you for value and add them and display the output. So this is our way of taking input from user and displaying output in the screen in C#. So now let's move toward the control statements. Okay, before that, let me show you how you can comment inside the C#. There are a lot of ways of commenting. First way is single line comment. You can do that by putting double slash in any line, and that line will get commented and will not be compiled. Second is multi-line comment. You can do multi-line comment by having one slash and asterisk to start the comment and asterisk and slash to end the comment. So by doing so, you can comment a large portion of the code. Another is known as summary or triple slash comment. You can do that by typing slash for 3 times. Okay, it is not working for some reason. Let it be. And the commenting system which I use the most is selecting the part of the code which you wanna comment and pressing this button where it says comment out the selected line. You can also do Ctrl K or Ctrl C, and if you click here, everything which is selected get commented. And to uncomment, you can click on the thing just toward the right of it and get uncomment. So now, keeping comment out of our way, we can focus on control statement. We have if, else, nested else, and loops, where we have for, while, do while, and for. If you have little knowledge of any other language, then you might already know what if, else, and nested if else do, and you might also know the use of for, while, and do while. For each may be new to you, but we will go through all of these. So at first, if. Sorry, I'm just suffer from common cold, so never mind. let us first create an integer named choice and take input from user. Now what we can do is, if and by pressing double tap you can code snap, and here what we can do is choice equal 0, which means if user enter 0, what we can do is console dot write line 0. So if for any reason user input 0 in this statement, then we will display it as line 0. For our simplicity, what I can do is I can just print end over here to know that our code has been ended. So if we run right now, it will ask us to enter something. So if I press 0, it will display 0 and end. And if I display something, if I enter anything else, meaning 2, it will just end without displaying anything. So this is if statement. To have else statement, what I can do is type else and double tap, and this will again open and close the bracket for us, and here I can write console dot write line non-zero, and by saving and running it, if I type 1, it will say non-zero and end the program. So now this is if else statement. So nested if else means, if I again say choice equals 1, then display 1, and else if my mistake, and by copying it and displaying it here, I can say 2 equals two, and at the end I can say else console dot write line So in nested if else, what I have done is created an integer which asks some integer value from the user, and if the given value is 0, we will display it as ZERO0. If user have typed 1, then we will use ONE1, and if user type 2, we will type TW2, and if the number is anything except 0, 1 and 2, then non-zero, 1 and 2 will be displayed. So if we run, you can see I can type anything else and it says not 0, 1 and 2. This is nested if else statement. And what we missed here is switch statement. Switch. As you might already know, switch statement is a lot similar to nested if else. So we can create the same scenario using switch statement. So let me comment out the if else and create a switch statement. switch statement take choice as an input and have different cases. Case 1, sorry, let's start from 0, console dot write line 0, and every case must be breaked, because if you don't do so, then it will make an error. 1 means 1, and at the end 2 means TW2, and at the here what I can show is TYP 0, 1 or 2. I can remove this one. Okay, this switch statement is completely similar to our nested if else statement right over here. So if we run this and type 3, again we go to the default parameter, and if we type 0 and 1, we will get the output as we have expected. So what is better to use, if else or the switch? Or why even consider using switch if else statement can do pretty much the same thing which switch statement can do? The answer will be that at first is, you can see, switch statement is a lot more smaller and needs less code than if else statement. But the main reason for switch statement is its power of optimizing the code. If you run if else statement, then what happens is at first it compare the input to the first case. If the first case does not satisfy the condition, it goes and check the second condition and third condition and so on. So if the condition which you are looking for is at the very end of the if statement, then it will take a lot of execution time to get to the code. But while using switch statement, if the case matches to the condition, it does not waste time searching in any other code, rather just jump to the code which needs to be executed. So switch statement is a lot more faster than the if else statement. Now let's move toward the loops, and let's start with while loop. To run while loop, what we need is an counter. Let us have int I as our counter, and our initial value shall be 0. And the syntax of the while statement is completely same as that of while loop in C programming and C++. So while I is less than 10, console.writeLine, let me just copy this one line so that I can easily paste it, and I can display I right here. What this line does is check this value and check the condition, and if the condition is true, this code will get executed and will execute it until the case is satisfied. So to break the case, some change has to be done to the value of I. So value need to be incremented or decremented before it gets satisfied. So what we'll do is type I plus plus so that its value get increased. So our console.writeLine will display the numbers from 0 to 9. So by pressing start, you can see our output is from 0 to 9 and our program ends right here. So this is while loop. We also have do while loop where condition is checked at the end of the program. Here, if I have 100 is the default value of I, which is obviously greater than 10, but if we run the code, the value will still get displayed for the first time, because what it do is run through the code for one time and then check the condition, and if condition matches, then start the loop again, but if condition doesn't match, break the loop. So in do while loop, the code will get executed at least for one time. To make this code completely similar to what we did in while loop, we can do this, and if we start, this code will display value from 0 to 9. Our another loop statement is for loop, and what's good about for loop is that it will place initiator, comparator and increment decrement operator in the single line. So to run for loop, we have initiated I as 0. We have placed the condition that I must be less than 0 to run the loop, and we have incremented the value of I in the same place. So here all we have to do is write our code without thinking about where to increment our counter, and if we run this again, this will display the same output. And our last yet different kind of loop is for each loop, and to run for each loop, what we need is a collection. For each, here we can see var item in collection, but we don't have any collection. So what is collection? And answer is, the collection is group of anything, like you might know array and the list and array are the collections. So for this example, what we can do is create an array of a string in our C#. So let me show you how you can create an array in C#. To create an array in C#, at first type the data type name. String is string for our case. Type the name of the variable. Let me give it num and press. You have to give two open and close big bracket to define that the given variable is array, and you have to press equals new and again data type, and inside the bracket give the number, give the size of the array. As by doing so, we just created our collection of the string. So I can replace this collection with the num, and now let's put something inside our string. So what I can do is num 0 equals 0 num equals 1 and norm 2 equals 2. So we have an array, a collection, and we also have some values inside that collection. So let me show you what is the use of for loop. Inside for loop we have a variable named item. This item can store any kind of variable like string, integer, number, or decimal, anything. And num is a collection. So what this loop does is, starting from 0 to the end of the collection, it will take every item inside the collection one by one. So if we just display the item, what will happen is it will display everything from start to bottom. So 0, 1 and 2 will get displayed. So this is it about for each loop. Okay, I think it is proper time to end today's episode because we have already crushed our mark of 30 minutes, and of course, instead of learning everything in one day, taking a bit of rest and practicing will make you more perfect. So if you really want to boost up your career in C# and in ASP.NET, then I suggest you not to get overwhelmed and do practice. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. If you got any questions related to the topic, then please don't get hesitate to comment down in the comment, and I will reply you as fast as I can. And if you are interested in learning anything interesting and want to know more about me, then please consider subscribing. And if you really enjoyed the tutorial, then please like this video. Hope this was helpful, and thank you very much.